Hello knitters, Barbara Benson here. I'm an independent knitwear designer who also likes to make videos here on my channel, Watch Barbara Knit. If you would like to know more about any of my patterns, please check in the description below, and there you will find a link to my Ravelry page, where if you click through, you'll be able to browse photographs of all the patterns I have available for you to purchase and download digital PDFs with instructions on how you can make these pieces. If you decide you want to do that, or if you're working on something, I would love to hear from you. You can either chat with me in the comments below, or also in the description you will find a link to my Facebook group for Watch Barbara Knit, and it is a closed group you can request to join, and it is a place where it's semi-private. We can share pictures and chat, and you can ask questions, and it could be a lot of fun. So I'd love to have you join me there if you're a Facebook user. Today is Tuesday. I have managed to make a bonus video for you. There was a request a while back for a magic loop video by one of our viewers and commenters, Marilyn. So thank you so much, Marilyn, for giving me the suggestion. I do have a list of things that I need to make videos on, and anytime anyone suggests something, I put it on the list. So if there's any technique that you would like me to demonstrate, as long as it's something I know how to do, I will try to figure out how to do a demonstration. I did a close-up video on magic loop, so hopefully it will help you. But I wanted to give, the piece I'm working on is a little big, so I had a hard time getting it all on the screen and being close up. So I wanted to give a general basic set of instructions right here with it big. So this is the beginning, right? And see how I have the two long needles. What you need is a big long cable. You got the two on this side, and then about halfway through your stitches, you have the rest of your cable sticking out the other end, so you have enough room. This enables you to knit something that is a smaller circumference than the length of your needle. That is one of the reasons why I own a whole bunch of long needles, because I can always take a long needle and knit something with a smaller circumference using magic loop, but I have not yet figured out how to take a short needle, maybe like a 20-inch needle, and knit something that is substantially larger, because you end up cramming all these stitches on it and it just makes a big mess. So magic loop is awesome. I mean, yeah, you can cram stitches in, but there is a limit to that. Now, what you do is what you have, see here, this in position to knit. Let me get it closer to the center. This in position to knit, and then you use this. You have slack here so that you can knit as if you're knitting flat. And you will knit, 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 knit across the first half of your round, right? And then you get to this side, and by the time you get to this side, you're going to have both needles on this side and a loop on this side. And when you get to that point and you've finished half your round, all you do is flip it over like you're knitting flat. If you want to think about flat knitting, and think about one of these sides being a right side and one of being a wrong side, that might help you. But so when you flip it around, both your needles are going to be on this side and in position to knit across the second half of your round. And you just keep flipping and flipping, always in the same direction. And it's obvious when you get to the end of the round, you have both needles hanging out this side. So you got to flip it over so that all your needles are on this side and you're ready to knit in the correct direction. There will be close-ups and in the video that is coming up just right now. As you can see, I have a piece that I'm working on that the circumference of it is substantially less than how long my needle is, which is not a problem when you work with magic loop. I love magic loop. To start with, as you can see, here I have both ends of my needles are protruding. So we're going to slide our left needle in because that's the one we're fixing to work with. And you take this one. So if you were just doing regular circular knitting, your needles would look like this, right? And you'd just be knitting along, do, 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 do. But with Magic Loop, what I'm going to do is pull this back needle out so that I have it ready to go, just like I'm using straight needles. Now let me scooch down at this end so you can see about halfway through the stitches I have, we've got the cable sticking out in a second loop. Let me grab my yarn that for some reason is hiding from me. And I'm doing a mosaic pattern. So there's going to be slipping. I'm going to knit. So I've got my right hand needle, which I have pulled out of the back. My first 2 stitches are slipped. And then now I like to hold, I'm using my rear finger to hold that tighter so that it's not all funny and loopy. But I'm going to knit across. Yeah. Just so you guys know, my arms are way more far in front of me than they normally are to compensate for my camera. So I'm not usually this awkward when I knit. But we will knit across and I will fast forward. Now, I'm about halfway through this front half, and I want to make sure I let you know. So when I advance my stitches down my right hand needle, you need to make sure that you do not lose this loop that you have created on this side. So you want to keep these squinched down a little bit so you still have your loop over here, and you still have your loop over. You know what? You're getting in the way. Get out of here. You still have your loop over here. Back to knitting. I've gotten to the end. Oh, I'm not supposed to knit that. I was supposed to slip it. I've gotten to the end of this front half of my knitting. I have now this big long guy. This is my left hand needle, right? You can see his whole big thing. And now my right hand needle's here. So I put my fingers in this loop so I don't lose it. And then you take this needle and pull it out. Now you can see it went around here, but it's still in there. Normally you might have a round marker here. I like to live dangerously, and I don't have a round marker because I know the beginning of the round is where my yarn is. So this is the place where some people find it tricky. We have just finished this row, this half of my round, right? We have pushed this down, so pulled this out, made sure that this is still out, and what I'm going to do is take this side and pull. Okay, when I pull on this one, it's pulling the other needle in like that. So now we have both needles, just like at the beginning, sticking out. But all of our needles are on the right, all of our stitches are on the right side. So what you do to work with it is just like as if you were knitting flat with straight needles, you flip it over. Okay, let me see if I can do that and keep it in screen. Okay, your needles are sticking out on this side. You flip it over. That yarn's being difficult. There. So now we're just like at the very beginning. We're in position to start knitting, and both of the needles are dangling out this end. So we take the left needle now and shove it in. I'm going to go over here to the other end where my loop is and pull on it. See, pull on it. So we're squinching all these stitches down. And then this gets pulled out. And it's in this hand now and ready to knit. We're going to squish this down some more. So we're ready to knit. And if you look over here, I got a big old loop. So let me get my yarn. There it is. Where's the yarn? Boop, there it's hiding. Now I'm ready to go. I got this here. And starting with 2 slip stitches, pushing this up with my finger so that I don't get a weird gap. And time for fast forward knitting. Again, when you pull this, make sure you don't lose this. Ah! Godzilla attack! Sorry, I hit my little tiny tripod. Here we are at the end of our row. My last stitch is a slipped stitch. Now, again, we're at the end of, this is the total end of the round. I've finished it. I can tell because I've gotten back to where my pink yarn is, but this would be where you would have your round marker. And you got to be careful because at this point, your round marker can just fall off. So you have to make sure you know where it is and you put it back on because you just got to it and it might have fallen off. So we've got all of the stitches we just made, and here is the loop. Again, stick your fingers in this loop, and then pull this out. See, oh, look how tight down it went. So that means I need to grab and pull out the other end. So that has moved the back needle, what is now the back needle, which was my left-hand needle, into this position, ready to go again. And now we're in this position with both of them hanging out like that. It's just like we were knitting flat. You take it and you flip it over. Now, both your needles are hanging out on this side and ready to rock and roll. You shove this one down back in. Pull this one out, ready to knit. Put your round marker on if it's fallen off, because they always do that. Make sure you have your loop on your other side. And this happens to me a lot. So when I started the other side, I caught that up. So all you do is you take your yarn ball and stick him through. And now he's no longer in that loop. So, ready to knit. You knit, 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 knit across. And then you'll have both needles hanging out of this end again. When you're to that point, you flip it over. And you're ready to go. So, that is Magic Loop. I hope that maybe cleared up some of your questions about Magic Loop. If you have any more questions, please feel free to ask me in the comments below if you need any clarification or if I said anything wonky. If you like this video, please give it the thumbs up, click that like button, and if you would like to be notified whenever I upload a new video, please subscribe to my channel and select notifications. Thank you so much.